Jungling Basics by Secret Ninja 007. So, first of all, I'd like to welcome everyone and thank you for watching this video beforehand, or at least playing it. This section will cover jungling routes. It is a little bit lengthy, but I hope you can bear through it. I do share some of my knowledge regarding routes and regarding what to do when you're in the jungle itself. I hope that you gain some sort of knowledge and better understanding about the mechanics behind the jungle. And I really hope that you simply enjoy the video, that you can progress through it. The audio is very diverse, sporadic. I recorded this through Fraps, and unfortunately Fraps does not seem to like my microphone, and so you may notice a bit of audio change. I'm doing my best to fine tune it, but I hope you bear with me and that you enjoy this video and that you can learn from it, because the whole point of these tutorials are just so you can get better, so the viewers can get better at jungling, so they can understand jungling through a more heightened state, I would say. I don't consider myself the best, I don't consider myself great. I consider myself decent at jungling, and I hope that these short videos, or that these, condensed form of information can help you understand this better. Once again, thank you all, and hope you enjoy this. Greetings everyone, my name is Secret Ninja 007, and I am here to present you with another jungling basic video. This one will cover jungling routes specifically. So yeah, let's get started. First of all, let's open up our store. Note to everyone, I do apologize for the audio. I am trying to speak as loud as possible, but sometimes there's an issue with the microphone, and so the audio actually might come out pretty low. I do apologize, I'm trying to fix this, but I am doing the best I can with what I have available. So, first of all, starting items.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
If you have enough armor, I'd start off with the Hunter's Machete and 5 health pots. If you don't, cloth armor and 5 health pots is probably the best option. Again, this has to do with sustain. You gotta be able to have enough sustain in the jungle first on your own before you can actually, be useful for everyone else. Because if you can't survive in the jungle on your own, how useful can you be to your lanes and such? Because if you're jungling and you're left at say 40% health or something, you can't really gank, because the fact that you show in there with 40% health, you're most likely gonna die. So this is the standard route. This is the route that most junglers will do. At least I've noticed that on almost all my junglers, I do this about maybe 75% of the time. Standard route starts at wolves, get some help with them if possible, get a leash. Here I'm just doing it on my own, but generally very helpful to get a leash, or just to get people, usually mid and top if you're here, mid and top, usually help you around here. They just auto attack, use spells, whatever. Just make sure that you're taking the damage, because you are the jungler. You do start off with 5 health pots. Very important, just make sure. Smite it properly. Don't smite it too early, don't smite it too late. Hover your mouse over smite, look at it, 522 damage here. So as soon as it comes back up, 520, boom, use it. As I was saying, you have the sustain, you have 5 health pots, use up that health pot, because it shouldn't be your lane's responsibility to keep you sustained in the jungle. Before you come into the jungle, you should, be able to sustain yourself. So, wolves, blue buff, and now we're moving down towards the double golems. Notice how I am already out of health pots. This is probably not the most ideal condition, but we should be able to clear this route. We will probably be low. Note that if we had gotten the leash, we would have been, more sustained. But we do what we can with what we have.
We await our time.
Also note that when you're jungling, you don't want to be too low on health. Below 50% is actually, it should be a danger zone. The only reason why we're here doing this, 550, I was actually late. The only reason why we're in this jungle with so much low health is just because, for demonstration purposes only, but you do not want to be in the jungle below, I would say, 50% health, just because counter gank, counter jungle, if they place a ward around here, you're doing way to 10% health, mid will run to you and they will kill you, and you will get first blood. So we started at wolves, went to blue buff, did raids, went down to double golems, did red buff, and then finished off at raids. First trip back, I highly recommend boots. Boots are very important here, especially because right now, if you notice, we have blue buff, we have red buff, we can gank, we have 21 points, we have 9 points in winning affinity or in mastery, so now our cooldown for our red buff and blue buff are actually fairly long. We get our boots, and I do recommend buying a vision ward.
We think alike, summoner.
This is generally what I like to do, but take note of this. Buying an early ward as a jungler is actually very effective, I'd say, because, for example, your mid lane generally won't have a ward up, so you can always ward here, you can always ward there. What I'd love to do is I'd buy a pink ward on my first trip back, buy boots, and then with the pink ward, I'd either place it here. I'd ask bot lane if you know where the wards are. I'd either place it here, or even place it right here. Now, this is amazing right here, because now you can kill the wards, you know, and then you're gaining control of it. Alright, so, welcome back everyone. Here I will cover another route. First of all, my first clip cut out just when I was speaking about the bottom area of the brush. What I meant to say was, if you pink ward this, or you pink ward over here, you're effectively gaining control over bot lane, or at least part of the wards. This makes it a lot more easier for you to be able to gank, and it just shows jungle presence, and jungle presence is very important in this game. So, now, recovery route. This is, normally if my standard route doesn't work for some reason, the only reason it wouldn't work is if I would use blue buff. And so, what I do in this case is, you have two options. You can farm at your jungle with whatever you have left, or you can take their blue buff and then make your way down back to your jungle. Most of the times, if you lose your blue buff, it's going to be because your team wasn't with you, or your team didn't want to engage, or you don't have the sole control over your blue buff. And so when that usually happens, that means that you're left on your own, and it's pretty risky to make yourself into that blue area and take that blue buff on your own. So, chances are, what I would do is I would actually start at double golems, and I'd use my smite on double golems just because they're the hardest creep to kill, at least in my opinion. So, once again, we look at smite, 490, and then double golem, it is at 8, 7, 640 something, and smite it. Use health pots. Health pots should have probably been used when you're lowering down yourself's health, but for all purposes, for display purposes, after double golems, rush over to rates. This should give you level 2. Once you get to level 2, head over to wolves. Now, we can go do red, but remember that we don't have smite up. So if you're gonna do red at level 2 without smite, there's a chance that if they invaded your blue buff, they're gonna invade the red buff. It could be warded, and they can take it away. For safety purposes, I recommend doing wolves, and then making your way down to red buff, because smite is crucial. If you don't have smite up, you can lose anything. Just keep that in mind. In higher level plays, maybe the games that you've been playing, they haven't done that. But if you know someone's on top of the game, they will smite your buff, and they will take it away from you, because that's how this game works. You know, advantages. 520. Ooh. Barely made it alive. Yes, we don't have blue buff. So
we await our time.
recall. got to level 3, we can recall. There you recall. Get our boots. I love getting boots as soon as I go back. Okay. Okay, so now that you went back, I recommend boots and award. Note that you don't have blue buff, so you are going to be a level or 2 behind jungler, and this is actually going to slow your jungling time by about a minute. So the best thing you can do now is actually go in for a gank. Right now you have boots, you have sustain, you might not have the level advantage, but you have red buff, you have 387 movement speed compared to what they would have on Soraka, 335. So once you proc that red buff, you can go in for a gank.
We think alike, summoner.
If not, just effectively farm jungle again. You can repeat the same route. Start with double golems. Move on to raids, and then move on to wolves. Also, if you do lose blue buff, make sure that you know when it spawns, and make sure you clear the creep wave. Because chances are, they'll be jerks, and they'll leave 1 minute in there, so you have to make your way over there, kill that one creep, and then it's in the respawn. In the previous video, I talked about respawn time, keep those in mind. Hope this helps you out. Greetings everyone. So, continuing our jungle route explanation video. Here I'm actually playing with Leauge. I chose him because he seems to suit this route better than certain junglers, and I like to play as him. So, Hunter's Machete, 5 health pots, and let's get this going. Okay.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
So in this route, I call this the aggressive route. This is the route that you mostly like to take if you're gonna go for that early gank, because we will be going for red buff. We will not be going for blue buff first. We were going for red buff, and the red buff gives you a slow damage over time. So it A, increases your damage, and B, it applies a slow. That slow is really critical for ganks and helps you get in those very good hits. So the way this route works is we usually start at raids. We do have the option of starting at double golems, but the chances are that, especially if you're on the blue side, that double golems will be taken by your bot lane, AD carry and support, just so they can get that level 2 early advantage against the purple side. However, if you're on this side, you can effectively start at double golems and then move down to red buff. But for this, most people, or generally I, will start at raids
Minions have spawned
and move my way down to red buff. Remember, everything's minions spawn at 140 jungle creeps. So here we go. Quickly sin, make sure you get your passive in. Your next 2 basic attacks give you return your energy. So you want to auto attack twice, and then block it.
Quiet steps.
Make sure you keep your sustain up using your health pots. This is why we have 5 of them. You know, use a generous amount. Like here we're probably gonna get pretty low because red buff is actually, I think, stronger than blue buff. So the damage output that this has on you, smack correctly. There you go. And now here, on this route, you can either, if you have enough sustain, you can go down and do golems. But most people, most champions, because they've taken this aggressive route, they want to make the best possible, or the best out of their red buff. So they will effectively gank as soon as they get red buff. So keep this in mind, especially if you're playing against champions that are known to start red buff, like Leauge, and they're on the blue side. He will finish this. He will have his red buff, and he will be ready to gank as soon as level 2. So it won't even be 3 minutes in game before you see a Leauge champion on you, ready to gank you. However, if you didn't choose to gank, you can effectively go down, do double golems. After you do double golems, you can go up and do raids, and that actually gets you to level 3. From here on, if you have enough sustain, you can, your smite will be up, and you you will be ready to do blue buff. Remember the timer? 550. You don't want to take more damage than we need to. Here we go. Zero. Level 4, and there we go. So that was the aggressive route. Remember, raids or double golems, take that red buff, make it your own, and then you can go gank mid, you can go gank bot, or you can continue on from double golems to raids to blue buff. Your smite will be back up by the time you get a blue, then the wolves, and you're level 4, and you are ready to go. Hope this helped you. Alright, so as you may notice in the previous clips, I showed you 3 routes. The standard route, which revolves around blue buff, the aggressive route, which revolves around red buff into an either early gank or just a faster clear time, or just a faster level, because generally by the time you do raids again, you will be level 3, and anyone that took the standard route will most likely be working on red buff or just finishing double golems, barely getting level 3, and here you're ready, level 3, double buff, ready for action. But right now I want to take this time to talk to you a little bit about jungle routes and what your purpose should be. So as a jungler, you want to try to keep up to level, and you want to try to be higher level than bot lane or any dual lane in general. Generally bot lane would be the dual lane, so you generally want to try to keep your level advantage higher than that, and you want to keep to top lane or mid lane. You want to keep around their level. Take note though that this does not mean that you're just going to be in the jungle free farming every time. As a jungler, you have to go from point A, point B, all the way down, point C, go all the way down to point D, and then E, and then F. Depending on what jungle route you take, you're gonna effectively go around this whole area. Correct. So because of that, you have the ability to simply wander off from here and go help this guy up at top. You have the ability to wander off here and go mid. You have the ability when you're here to go around here, help mid out, or make your way down bot, help this out, go around here, this dragon. The point is that you have all these routes available, and you have to make use of them according to, you know, the best knowledge that you have, because no other lane has this sort of availability. For example, bot lane, here's the bot. All they can do is really, if anything gets, you know, stuff starts going down, all he can do is just maybe run up here, run around here, you know, over here, or here. This is basically his little canvas. This is his play area. It eventually covers blue buff, which is still a very far distance from him, going down probably all the way to your double golems and covering dragon. This is probably his playing field. Like, this is the biggest area they can go, because if this guy wants to make his way all the way down to mid, it's gonna take him a while. It is a long walk, especially down the river, which is most likely warded. It is a long walk. You as a jungler, your walk naturally entails you to go around all over this area. This whole canvas is your playfield, and you have to make use of it. So, general rule of thumb: try to keep higher level than all dual lanes. However, make use of the special ability, the gift that you have as a jungler, that you can go anywhere on this map. This whole thing is just your campus. Make use of that. Very important. Also, I wanted to address one question that some viewers may have, and this is, when should I start at wolves? Or why should I start at wolves? Why can't I just stand by blue buff and start there? Why can't I just stand by red buff and start there? Okay, so we know that the neutral jungle creeps, meaning wolves, raids, and double golems, spawn at minute 40. And the buffs, blue buff and red buff, spawn at minute 55. It means that you have 15 seconds to effectively farm this or farm that or farm that before these are even present, before you even have a chance to farm these. Now, take note that our starting route really, even here it's recommended 5 health pots. That is a lot of sustain. That is 150 times 5. That is a lot of health that you have at your disposal. So because we're giving all this health, and we're even giving items to help us clear faster. Hunter's Machete, unique passive. Butcher, damage dealt to monsters increased by 10%. Unique passive. Rent, basic attacks deal 10 bonus true damage to monsters on hit. So we're given all these tools. But the jungle is not a very easy one. Clearing the jungle effectively to the best of your champion's ability is actually quite a challenge. So, my general rule of thumb is if mid and top are going to help you, do wolves, do raids, do double golems. Let them know, we have a chat here. This chat right here, we can use it, Generally, you can type out starting wolves, then blue buff, damage, police, something simple, something nice, something friendly, and they will help you out. They'll give you that damage on wolves, and they'll help you with that damage, and they'll give you that damage on blue buff. Let them know, and they'll help you out. Remember, this is a team game, so this requires a team. However, if you are not level 30, you don't feel. First of all, if you aren't level 30, you should do a bots game or something and try out the jungle route. Make sure that you can at least live through it. That should be first step. Even if you get low, make sure you can live through it without a leash, because chances are you might have to do it all without a leash. However, lost my train of thought. If you're mid and top lane are willing to help you with wolves, do wolves. If they're willing to help you, start off with wolves. If they're willing to help you with raids, start off with raids. However, if they won't help you, I would not recommend starting off with that, because you're gonna probably burn through 2 health pots, and you're probably gonna take too long trying to clear them out. So by the time blue buff spawns, your mid and top lane are already gone. They're already in their lane. They're already farming it up. And by 2:05 or so, you're probably, or 2 minutes in, you're gonna finish clearing your wolves, and then blue buff has already been there for about 5 or 10 seconds, and you miss out on that. This game is a lot about early game advantage. This game is a lot about early game advantages and learning how to press them. So I hope this helps decide on the question: should I start raids? Should I not start raids? You have this big sustain. Just make sure you have your teammates behind your back. Take care.